It's a great energy in a condominium. That's the one. I kind of miss that. Being in a home, I miss, sometimes I say to my wife, like, I miss going down to my buddies and watching them bang out a bunch of ladies. No, I'm joking.
That's your next investment idea. It's just a sex room in your condo.
I thought he was going to say like a strip room or something. Right? You could have a strip club in there.
That might be. There's like this whole like S&M sex club vibe going on in different cities. That would be an interesting condo theme. You know what I mean? Just like
is that your idea?
No, but I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
Okay. 1 for 13. Okay.
On the Todd Shapiro Show, Sirius XM 168.
I like that suit today.
Do you?
Yeah, it's cool.
This is my my family tartan.
Is it really?
Close enough. Yeah.
Okay. So much family pride. Yeah, close enough.
It's Lamont and McGregor colors, black and blue.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's nice.
You close a deal today with that thing?
I close a deal every day.
Wow. Do you close a deal every day?
I close between 3 and 5 deals a day.
Jesus.
Wow.
You close between 3 and 5 deals a day. Can you teach me the art?
We do 110 deals a month.
You do 110 deals a month?
At least, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Is it?
From condos to homes to even your own stuff, like buying land, whatever it is. There's always a deal going down.
Wait, are you like just counting when you go to 7-Eleven and you buy like a Coke? You're like, deal? Are we closing this? Yeah, we got it. And you're like, yeah, put it on the tally.
I can't count that?
Okay.
That counts, doesn't it?
Okay, so I close. I can barely afford stuff at 7-Eleven. I got a couple of deals a day. Aisha Alfa, by the way, Brad J. Lamb. How many deals do you close a day, Aisha Alfa?
You know, depends on how big we're talking, but I'd say about 33 to 34. Depends if it's a good day, weekends, maybe half that. But that's pretty good. I mean, good job, you though. Good work.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Aisha Alfa lives in L.A. Starting her stand up.
That's my credit.
I love L.A.
Yeah. How's that? Is L.A. and what's the market like in L.A.? The real estate market?
It's strong.
It is strong.
Very strong. It was very weak in 2009, 2010, but it's super strong. It's come back well beyond what it was. Probably twice as much. Say 60% higher than it was before the Great Recession.
So much like how Toronto market's tough to afford stuff, would it be similar in Los Angeles?
Any great place to live in the world, any place that you want to live in the world is beyond your means for the average person.
Hey, that's a great way to, especially for Canadians, to think about Toronto specifically. Because there used to be this thing, Toronto and other Canadian, but Toronto is the hub where everyone wants to be. And that's great if you're in Toronto because you know that it'll always, well, we think always and hope always anyway, keep our housing prices at high cost. So there's somewhat of an investment there for us. Is that stupid to say?
It doesn't, real estate prices aren't always on the rise, but cities like New York and Vancouver and Toronto and LA and Miami, all the great cities, London, Paris, prices never really drop much, right? They'll drop when there's a catastrophic event, but within a year to a year and a half, they're back to where they were before they dropped, and they march their way forward again. So it's impossible to time these little year to 18-month setbacks, and it's pointless. Just if you want to live in a great city, just buy something.
I was going through the notes. Your right-hand man, who's great, Ryan, sends me notes to make me sound more intelligent in the questions that I ask Brad every week, Aisha.
If you didn't tell him that, he would just actually think, it's like, wow, Todd.
No, I think Brad's got me figured out by now.
Okay. I absolutely would not think that.
He's closed too many deals not to understand who I am. Okay. But the Globe and Mail has recently reported a new real estate problem being exposed in British Columbia, where farmland is being sold to speculators and then sold to individuals who are ridding the land of farming potential and building mansions while exposing tax incentives meant for the farmland. And this is interesting. So people are wealthy families going there, getting rid of the farms and just building like stuff you'd see on the old Dallas, what was that? It's not sitcom, whatever.
Oh, the soap opera?
The soap operas.
I never watched it.
Yeah, but they were actually running a ranch.
Oh, they were?
So that's okay.
Okay.
You know what? This is happening everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's not just Vancouver. It's happening in Toronto. There's a fantastic farmland in Caledon Hills that people are buying for luxury country homes, multi-million-dollar country homes. And to buy 100 acres now in Caledon with a house is $10 million. So it's not just Vancouver. What I find interesting is how fucking stupid is government. Like, how hard is it to drive out to the fucking country and count the mega homes being built in the farmland? Like, what do these people do? What do they actually ever leave their office ever to check this stuff out? It blows me away how stupid the British Columbia government is. Boggles my mind.
So what's actually happened? So are they putting? I mean, what's actually going down? Like, is this a bad thing because they're buying the land and saying they're going to use it for farming purposes, and that saves them money? I don't understand it.
Well, listen, great farmland is being eaten up all over the world for housing. It's happening everywhere, everywhere, and you can't stop people from buying farmland and putting a house on, saying I don't want to farm. I'm not a farmer. You can't force them to farm the land if they don't want to. I mean, you can create legislation to force that, but in this case, there are incentives for farmers to farm land in property tax reductions. Same thing in Ontario. You can get your property taxes down to zero on a farm, essentially, if it's farmed for farming. And the same thing in British Columbia. So people are buying farms and getting the tax abatement and not farming. And that's the big crisis. But it's...
So the government doesn't go, like what you're saying is they're not, someone sells a farm that's actually farming that gets the tax rebate. Someone goes in there, buys the plot, puts a mansion on, and they're still paying no taxes?
Lower taxes. Lower taxes than they would pay as a residential home rate, yeah. So listen, this is just absolute incompetence in the provincial government in BC. And I've been going on about this for months. But like, why does it take the Globe and Mail to figure that out? Why isn't the Minister of Farming in Alberta or in British Columbia drive his car out to, the suburbs?
Why do you think that is? Are they ignoring it because it is wealthy people who are using this land and they don't care?
No, I don't think people who are in government, who run for government in this country, are qualified for the positions they have. I think they're massively underqualified. They get elected on popularity contests and not on skills. They're given portfolios they know nothing about, and they rely on the status quo that runs the civil service, who are incompetent. Like, government's incompetent. Everywhere in the world is completely incompetent.
It drives you nuts. But I mean, do they look at you as the enemy too? Is that part of the problem when you come and try and consult with them and give them great advice? And because you share this information with everybody.
No, this is the other thing I find interesting, that policy is enacted all the time. And one of the last groups they consult are the groups they should consult, which are the people that make change. They don't consult us at the start.
Well, how dare we work with a visionary? How dare we? In Vancouver, back to BC.
Are you calling me a visionary?
It's a compliment. It's not just those nice glasses. Okay, it's not
I have great vision.
It's not. Those are nice glasses. I was thinking that. The Vancouver housing market is cooling, and commercial properties because of it are soaring. Is this a move that foreign buyers are shifting their focus to? And does this sort of like now they're putting the financials instead of the residential side and the commercial side? Is that all part of this sort of tax, 15% tax thing?
Yeah. So we're going to really hammer Christy Clark today. So,
don't use that as a soundbite. Just put that in context.
We're going to hammer
her hard.
That's our promo.
So here's the thing: the premier of a province creates a 15% additional tax on investors buying Vancouver proper property. And didn't think of the consequences of our actions, like what other things. It's like when you put your finger in a leak in a dike, another leak pops open, okay? So last week we talked about a collapse in the new construction starts in high-rise because investors aren't buying suites from floor plans, and therefore developers can't get financing. I don't think we did talk about this.
No, we talked about it.
Did we? Okay. Developers can't get financing because they can't pre-sell apartments because investors buy apartments from floor plans because people don't wait 5 or 6 years for a home. That's just reality. So that happened. That was stupid, and so that's killing the economy. Now, the second thing is, now what's happening is foreign investors are pouring into BC and Vancouver, and they're buying up all the commercial property because the tax doesn't pertain to commercial property. So it's a huge amount of money from China coming in. They're buying all the offices and parking lots and industrial properties to avoid the tax because there shouldn't be a tax anyways. And so now it's 94% increase in transactions in 1 month. since the tax been created. So now it's causing a massive spike in commercial prices. It's going to cause a massive spike in commercial rents. And now there's a woman, in the newspapers interviewed who has a muffin shop or something, and she's upset because her rent's probably going to go up. And that's what's going to happen. Why? Because Christy Clark's an idiot. She did not consult the industry to find out what the repercussions were going to be from the stupid 15% foreigners tax. And now BC is fucked.
God.
Vancouver's fucked.
I love that you tell it like it is, man. I really do. And it's a shame it is. And I don't know, man. I don't understand this stuff. All I know is that it seems like, and what makes sense to me on a layman angle, and why I find this so important for everyone to hear is, and Aisha, you'll get this as a hardworking young comedian, and whether you make a home in LA one day or if it's back to Toronto, originally from Winnipeg. But, you're getting us one way or another. And when I say us, I say like the average kind of hardworking citizen who either wants to make a good home. So now we're going to get screwed out of a good home because of these taxes. Or one day when we start a small business out of like our leasing or renting. And that's a shame. And it ends up affecting us right now. These stress tests, having to we need what's the new stress test that I saw that they're saying is going to cause housing prices to surge as well, or to lower? They're saying that it's going to. Yeah, the new stress test is saying that housing prices are going to lower or something. What's going on with that?
So I don't know. A month ago, our federal government, alongside with CMHC, now says that you can buy a house with a 2.5% interest rate, but you have to qualify at a 4.5% interest rate. So it means that even if you can afford to buy something with a 2.5% interest rate, you now have to be able to qualify for a more expensive property. In effect, it means that if you can afford to live currently with interest rates as they are in a $350,000 home, now you can only buy a $280,000 home because that's all they'll let you borrow.
So will that hurt housing prices or help them? Is that good for? Is that? I mean, or
are they just going to increase the price so that you can get the home that you would have gotten?
You know what? There's no stop in the housing market.
You keep saying that. I see on your Twitter.
So you can stop the housing market by doing completely asinine shit like they did in BC, but it's going to find its way. Like I said, it's like putting your finger in a dike. Eventually, there's going to be a break somewhere else. So, government interfering in free markets like this is just a bad idea. Like, it's regulated perfectly well. Occasionally, there's bad people. That we've talked about. People who are illegally manipulating pricing through bidding wars and bad bidding wars and helping your friend if you have a listing, tell them the price it takes to buy it and fuck other people. That stuff, that's very, very small part of our industry. But the industry right now doesn't need more legislation. It needs less. And I think BC is an example. When she loses the next election, and I fucking hope she does, what's going to happen is someone's going to get into power there. It's going to fix this mess because they're going to have to go back. They're going to have to repeal this 15% extra tax. It's
will
stupid.
It ever come to Ontario?
No, never in a million years.
Okay, so it won't. It won't
will
come
not
here.
happen here.
Okay,
no.
but it's been proposed, has it not?
No, it's been. The media has chatted about it, and very clearly the Premier, John Tory. Sousa, who's our Minister of Finance, has come out very clearly and said it's not.
So they get
here.
it. So they get it.
In fact, what happened is our province created a bonus for first-time buyers. They eliminated the land transfer tax. If you're a first-time buyer under $380,000, there's no more land transfer tax on the provincial level. Which was interesting. They're stimulating the market, and the federal government and the CMHC are destimulating the government. It's like this working at odds. It's
what a shame.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some positive things. You got a couple of projects on the go. Everyone wants to know, of course, what Brad J. Lamb is working on, and that visionary and that big mind, that big brain on Brad. Isn't that a line in Pulp Fiction? Check out the big brain on Brad. Isn't that? I think it's a line from Pulp Fiction.
I think you're right.
You got the Waterworks project, and you're also doing one. It's Brant and Richmond Street, and you're doing something around the St. Lawrence Market too.
Okay, so hold on. I'm not taking credit for the Waterworks. I wish it's not my project.
Oh, it isn't?
No, but I think the question there is,
okay. Sorry.
Do I like it or?
I don't know what the question is. Yeah, what are your thoughts on
Where
it?
is the Waterworks project? What is it?
The Waterworks building.
Why are we talking about another project?
Fuck, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't write these questions.
Okay, that's a dumb question.
All right,
okay.
St. Lawrence Market. What's your question?
I'll say this about the Waterworks.
Yeah.
What's great about the Waterworks is an old City of Toronto Waterworks building, and they're keeping it. They're putting in a YMCA. So the developer's keeping it, the old building. They're putting in a YMCA for the neighborhood. It's Brant and Richmond, or it's the King West neighborhood. And
it's our neighborhood. It's where I met Brad like
Sure
15 years ago, man. He lived one above me. I lived in the smallest unit in the place, and he lived with a pool. And I used to always
a
try.
lot of chicks going up to that apartment.
Yeah, there
In
were.
your
There were.
apartment, you had a pool?
Yeah, I had a swimming pool on my terrace.
It was the best.
I love how you're just like, yeah. Anyway,
Doesn't everybody have a pool on their terrace?
I put on my bathing suit and go in my bathtub sometimes.
I would ride the elevator purposely because it opened up right into Brad's unit. So I would and sometimes there I don't know. Sometimes that elevator messed up. It would go up to his unit by accident, and I would just always have a bathing suit on in case I never got the invite. I not one.
You would have had to have two girls with you.
Yeah,
then we would let you up there.
that might have been likely
And
actually.
I mean
in the day.
attractive girls too, not just anyone.
Okay.
So anyway, Waterworks are also putting an amazing kind of a St. Lawrence Market type food. Do you know the St. Lawrence Market?
Yeah.
So they're going to put in a mini St. Lawrence Market
Oh,
type
I like
facility
that.
in the neighborhood, so you can, and they're also expanding the park there another quarter. So you'll be able to hang out in the park, wander and get a sandwich.
Is that good?
It's phenomenal.
That's great.
Okay.
That
Phenomenal.
sounds really cool.
Now the building itself, that they're building on top of it, is not so good.
Okay.
But what's interesting, it's okay. It's just not great. But what's interesting is it's 800 to 1,100 a foot. Wow. Yeah.
Starting at 800 to 11.
Yeah.
That's crazy
And it's
to me.
almost half sold.
What's the okay? So I don't know about per square foot
Right.
prices. What would be
A little closer to Mike, Aisha. Yeah.
what would be like a normal something that's someone who's in the middle of the range could afford in that area?
So a 600 square foot one in dens, not huge, but most one bedrooms and dens are today. On the park, that would be $670,000 on the park.
For a small one bedroom plus.
Yes.
Wow.
And they're selling the hotcakes.
Like, this is the best. I'm from Winnipeg. I bought a condo when I was younger there because that's what everyone does. You can buy property very easily. And I bought it because it was cheaper to buy a condo than to rent an apartment. And my mortgage payment was $500 a month.
Wow.
And it was a great big one bedroom in the trendiest area in the city.
Right.
And then I came here and I had sold it because I wasn't no one was going to be there doing anything, and I don't like the idea of having to pay someone to rent my place out, until I moved here and found out the prices, and I was like, oh, I like the idea of having to pay someone to rent out my place.
Sure.
Because they're like, oh great, you can just buy a place in Toronto, and I'm like, I could buy the room in the bus shack next to the guy who pees every morning in there. Maybe,
No, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's getting expensive. It is. It's in the last year, prices have gone up in the condo market 20%.
Wow.
And it's going to go up over 20% next year. There's actually less so last year at this time there were 2,300 condos for sale in central Toronto, and there's now 1,100. And we're going into, it's going to get very, very, very tight. Now we're in the winter months. It'll drop down to probably 400 or 500 units, which means that there's probably 5 buyers for every unit for sale.
In your buildings, Brad, how does it work now in terms of smaller units to 2 or 3 bedroom units? Like, has there been a switch? And I don't know, again, from what I heard is there was a time they were building bigger units, but then they went to just more smaller ones for, like more one bedrooms or studio style.
Yeah.
But are you getting back to building more for families? Are you finding that that's happening?
It's interesting you say that, because in the 80s and 70s, people were building large units for families, and then we went on a complete different track, and we're building small apartments for young people and young couples. Today we're building more for families, because I always said that once a single, like a semi in Toronto, was $1.1 million or $1 million in that range, it was out of the reach of most people. And then couples would have to buy the $500,000 or $600,000 condos, and that's what's happening now. So we're seeing more and more couples. They won't buy something and wait for 5 years. I mean, you're in love, you're having a baby, you're not waiting 5 years for your home. But they will buy in a completed building, a newly completed building, in the unsold inventory or resale. And we're seeing a lot of people buying those. They've given up on the dream for a house for now, and they're getting in the market, and down the road they can sell their condo and buy, like you did.
But it's funny because after, and not that I could afford the Oomph Lounge where we were, because at Theater Park, which is absolutely beautiful, we rented out one of Brad's places, or we did a deal anyway. It was and everyone was there.
You
just
didn't rent it.
Yeah, we didn't rent it. We did a deal.
Gifted.
It was gifted. I know. I don't know why I said that. No, I didn't rent it. He gave it to me for a week. I know. I was grateful, and we didn't put a scratch on it. Thankfully,
No, you did a great. We're actually going to sell that apartment.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Damn. it's amazing. But I thought to myself, and the reason why my wife and I have this conversation, Brad, is I've told you this. I wanted to look at some other places that I probably could afford, because while I love my home and it's great and it's amazing and it's beautiful, I miss the amenities. Like I miss going to a gym. I miss maybe having a pool there, like you did in Theater Park on the 6th or 7th floor. Those little things, because time is so scarce when you have your kids. So now, like, it would be nice. Like, so I kind of get that. Like, I kind of get, even if you have kids, living in condominiums again.
Yeah, if you design a building to have enough amenities for families, and the units are dignified in the size and the style, then families will come back, and they are coming back in larger numbers. So, what we always wanted was to populate the inner core with more families with kids, and not have them leave to the suburbs and to the northern kind of more expensive neighborhoods. And that's happening now. So that's very exciting for the city.
So this leads me to my presentation on this week.
Would Brad invest in this?
So, and maybe this has been done, and I apologize if it has, especially if it's a competitor.
You realize you guys are 0 for like 12, right?
Where's it?
I've invested no money in this enterprise.
I think this would be great in a condominium, though. 0 money. He's never going to invest any money. By the way, if you ever had an idea to pitch, Aisha, now's the time.
Okay.
Okay. So keep get her going. Blah will go next, and you'll have a bit of time.
Okay.
But this one is more serious. Would you ever build within a condominium development, which you do so well at, making the nicest ones ever, with the best lamb standards possible?
Yes, I do.
These amenity rooms, why don't you do, maybe you have, I'm sorry, but my idea is, I would build it out, is like a really cool area that like daddies or mummies can go down with their kids, and it's like a massive, cool playroom that's a part of the condo, like only for the kids though. Yeah. Is that in one? Is that possible? Is that
like a McDonald's playroom?
Something like that.
For
yeah.
The condo.
That's a great idea. You did not invent that idea. But,
okay.
But you came onto it, quickly. That's great. I don't know how I could make money at that, but that's a great idea. Developers are doing that.
Oh, they are. Okay.
We're actually going to. We're doing more family-friendly stuff, like rooms for. Babysitting rooms, like freak out rooms so you can throw shit against the wall and jump and stuff.
Oh,
and we're also doing stuff for dogs, because young women love dogs, man. Do you have a dog?
No.
I walk out of my front door.
I
and
thought you were going to say she's not a young woman. I was like,
no, I'm not. I'm not going there.
But young women love dogs. It's crazy. So we're putting places now for them to spray off the poop and so on from a dog outside, and let them poop near the building, and there'll be like a poop station where you can.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
And then guys can hang out there for these young women, right?
Around the poop.
There you go.
But maybe you can't make money on it, but if you have some bigger units and you want to, I thought honestly, if you want to sort of encourage young families to go maybe back to condominiums, what they're used to living in Toronto or living, anywhere, like condominiums are like such a great lifestyle. It's a great energy in a condominium. That's the one I kind of miss that. Being in a home, I miss, sometimes I say to my wife, like, I miss going down to my buddies and watching them bang out a bunch of ladies. No, I'm joking.
That's your next investment idea. It's just a sex room in your condo.
I thought you was going to say like a strip room or something. Right? You'd have a strip club in there.
That might be. There's like this whole like S&M sex club vibe going on in different cities. That would be an interesting condo theme. You know what I mean? Just like
is that your idea?
No, but I think it's a good idea. No. I think it's a good idea.
Okay. 1 for 13. Okay. Anyway, so I just thought it would be a cool room, and the reason was because we took my kid all the way on the east side into this like warehouse area, and you got to pay like $12 for your kid to go run around and throw shit against the wall. Yeah. And I thought that I can understand that being desirable within a condominium. To anyway,
it is. By the way, there's at the end of Strand, there's a kids thing right there, right in the. If you go down Strand towards the lake, on the left side before you get to East Liberty Street,
okay,
there's a big old warehouse there that they've converted to a kid fun house.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool.
So there's one closer, because the other one I was talking east side. That's good to know.
I think you just have to donate or something. But I went there once with
my
kid.
Can you leave them there and just like okay?
If you're a bad dad, you can do that. Sure. Yeah. Go to jail.
Yeah. Bilal, it's your turn. Good luck, pal. Good luck.
All right, so this one comes from the heart.
No. All right, I'll listen.
All
Sorry.
right, thank you, Brad. So yesterday I asked out a 19-year-old comedian on a date on the show, and that's
Say her
as you
name.
can
Say
guess,
her
How
name.
old are you?
I'm 28.
19, eh?
Well, my parents had like a 13-year age gap. I'm sitting here beside Todd, who has about a 13-year age
but that's
gap.
probably like 40 and 27. That's okay. Anyway.
So I should wait.
All right,
but
pervert,
so no. So my idea, because I just struggle with the women, is an app, and I struggle with the dating apps, and it's
One sec,
essentially-
sorry. Did she say yes?
No, of course not.
Oh.
Yeah, of course not.
That's part of your
the
problem.
most confident I've ever
Right?
heard.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
You're going in thinking no.
You should have said you're going out with me. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, I compared myself to the 76ers. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that, guys. So the idea is, because the dating apps don't work for me, I don't know what it is. This is probably a myriad of reasons. So I figured if there's something that was more simplified and almost more gamified, and it was basically date roulette. I'm in this location. These are my criteria. Spin the wheel. I'm going on a date with someone, and if X criteria's match, that's good enough. We're splitting the bill. And
Oh
that's
my
it.
God.
And I've
I
also
thought-
given up all
I
hope
was
on life.
thinking
Splitting the
Russian
bill.
roulette. Like these are these five guys. You have to say yes, and then we pick which one of them you have to go out with.
I don't think you're ever getting a girlfriend. That's a fucking terrible idea.
Dating roulette. If you
First of all-
spin
first
it,
of
if she doesn't say it, you've got to pull the trigger.
Okay, so on that idea.
Okay. I got a sound effect here for it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh wait, that was the wrong
Oh,
one.
that one. Oh, even better. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, did you want to finish it off? Just how sad that was?
I don't really understand it, but I'll say this. So, like you'd go out, there's no criteria for you then, basically. Like you just take whatever comes your way.
So for the criteria, like I'll just give you my criteria as an example. So it'd be I'm allergic to cats, so no cats. And then it
that's
would
most
be
ladies.
like body type, like I'm thin, so maybe someone who's thin. And then, maybe like an age criteria and then a gender criteria is very important. And that would be it. It'd be very, very limited, bare bones, like the absolute minimum, the minimum requirements.
Really? I don't think that's going to work. But, I don't think it's that hard. Why don't you just, confidently ask someone out on a date? And by the way, 50-50 is your problem, my friend. You always pay when you take a
Yeah,
woman out.
you gotta pay. You gotta pay me.
This is a
Always.
slow clap coming from
slow.
Aisha Alfa on the
Yeah, boom.
end.
I shuffle. Boom.
Not that we need you to pay, but it just, you know what I mean? If you're going in like, hey, I'm a skinny guy, I'll pay for 50% of the bill.
I won't eat as much.
What is it? What kind of offer is this?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Do you tell them you're a virgin when you go out with ladies?
No.
Are you a virgin?
He's a virgin. Pedro's a virgin too. 34 and a half.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I hire only virgins because they work harder for you and for free. It's because they have nothing else to do. It's
You
amazing.
actually, are you allowed to ask them if they're a virgin on their application?
On air, you can do anything. That's like the human resources code goes off when it's on air. It's the best part about having a radio show. And we found out because
Maybe
yeah.
you should go see a hook or something.
It's been brought up many times. It's just not my style, but I appreciate it.
Well,
Brad.
you have no style right now. I mean, there's nothing going on.
It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. So
I can
can't
see
do
that,
it.
yeah.
Do you not get date? Like, here's the thing. I don't believe that you can't get a date. I'm really disbelieving of this because you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know, you're a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with your face.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
No, there's
There's
stuff
nothing
wrong with my
your
face.
Like you're a good, like you're a
handsome guy.
cute guy, and I mean,
Thank you.
I don't understand why maybe your standards are too high.
Well, that might be part of it.
Julie,
I don't know. I've
I know who
lowered
you
them
asked
quite a
out, and
bit.
she's like a good-looking,
Yeah, it's a lot of my
comedian,
league.
confident chick. Like I don't know.
No, but are you saying like them? Are you saying sort of like you wouldn't want to go out with me, would you? Is that how you're asking someone out?
Go get the handout. Here. Go get the handout. Go get the handout. Just go get it here. Thanks, Lewis.
Because that wouldn't work.
Did you?
Sorry, repeat the question just because stumbling over the wire to get the hand held there.
Oh, I see. I said, is your method of asking women out saying something like, you wouldn't want to go out with me, would you?
No, like I had a whole spiel and it was sticky and it was funny and
I love
it
when
was
Muslim guys say spiel. That still always cracks me up.
like I don't know.
That's like my favorite thing ever.
Did you say it was sticky?
Yeah, but because it was on the radio, so it had to be entertaining.
Here, come around here. Let me look at you again.
Yeah.
I want to see what you're wearing.
We got him
Well,
done
like-
up at Got Style.
Yeah, I don't know. Today,
Okay.
like yesterday, I took the path for like 10 minutes and my hair was good, and then I wore like better jeans and like a dress shirt. But today I've like lost. a lot
Because
of
you were
hair.
intending on asking
Yeah,
her.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, you
I-
planned it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Booked her.
planned it.
He
Sweet.
booked
I threw on a
her.
hood and I was like,
Really?
Oh wait, she was on air and you asked her out.
Yeah.
First of all, that's the first one. Don't. It's like when people propose at like a stadium. Don't do it. Do it
Yeah,
privately.
well,
Yeah.
People don't
you're
want to be in
acceptable
front of
me
everyone.
doing that.
When you're having sex, you're gonna do that? Is that what
No,
you're
no, no. I
saying?
said I don't think the station wants me to do that. So that's not happening again.
What do you mean? What?
I don't know.
Oh, did you get in trouble for that?
No, I didn't get in trouble. But
Because what he did is he abused his privileges as a
probably
producer.
to some extent.
Like when she said no,
she had
you just
nothing to
turned her
promote.
mic off afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get out.
Oh, you don't want to date me? Well, then no one's going to hear your opinions.
No, I thought it was a nice attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. You tried.
Yeah.
Got to keep trying, right, Brad?
Yeah,
Got to keep trying.
I've been trying, so that's a step.
Yeah, I think you're going to have no problem. I think it's just showing like a confidence is I think important because you've got all the tools, my friend.
Thank you.
That's nice of you to lie, but
I'm not lying.
no, I know, it's very sincere, Brad. Actually, and I'll ask you honestly because, your sort of presence and history dictates this is success. Your presence is that, the way you look, the way you speak, you're educated, engineer, college, great guy, great development company, real estate company, all of it at Brad J. Lamb. But have there been times, and I'm being serious actually, like that you've sort of failed at something, had to push yourself to do more that you didn't expect to? Like, I don't mean to get it, because I think it's important for those to see, like, to humanize, I think, the ones that we never expect to have it happen to them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when I was 12, I wanted to be Bobby Orr. I failed. I'm not Bobby Orr, right? So, and all through anyone's life, if anyone says they win at anything or everything, they're lying. I mean, the key is to never give up and to keep fighting. And even today, I mean, I finished a beautiful project and we closed it today, and I'm proud of it. But I didn't make, and so my standard is it architecturally great? Are people happy? Is the general buzz about it amazing? And did I make a shitload of money? And I didn't make a shitload of money, I made half a shitload of money. So I failed in my mind in that endeavor to make the pro forma numbers I wanted to make. Still made money, good money, but yeah, I mean, nobody wins all the time. And the key is to not give up and keep fighting.
I think what I got out of that is, because I think of Juliana Rodriguez as a 9 or 10 out of 10, so you got to go for a 4.5 or a 5. I think there's a good message there. Brad, I think we got a bit off topic today. I apologize for that. But make sure you go down to torontocondos.com and check out all of the incredible projects going on. Get the Lamb standard anywhere in Canada, the best standard condominium finishes in the industry, and make sure to live in a Lamb. Thank you to Mr. Brad J. Lamb. Lots of fun hanging out with you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll go to that Raptor game soon. Okay.
As I was coming here, I thought about I still have to figure that out. There's a bunch of games in December. I've got tickets for about 7 games.
Okay, I'm such a mooch.
Guys, if you ever need, like a cool Afro chick next to your side.
I think I lost out on my seat. Okay.
If you want some girls and you want it to not have a dick attached, I'm the one for you.
So you don't have a dick.
Okay.
I got it removed a long time ago. We're fine.
Good to know.
The Todd Shapiro Show.
All right, we really appreciate you watching that video. Make sure you check out some more videos. Why not? Let's get caught in the Shapiro Show vortex right here. Or you can subscribe to the channel right here and check out videos at any point, because we're going to give you all the alerts. We do appreciate you being a part of our family. Most families hate each other. Not ours. We love you.